always at the beginning of a word.
Okay.
There's going to be an there.
So, and then when there's two, which one is it? The first one or the second one?
First one is going to be
Silent.
silent.
Okay.
Second one, vocal.
If there's two Shabbat.
If you have two Shavas,
Yeah. That's what I told you.
Somebody erase that? Give me 2 days.
So you say if you
so
have
using
two,
what we have in the book, if we
That's the total. I mean,
do
so, okay, so that is.
the first one is going to be silent. So we're going to say Tosh. Then the second one is going to be vocal. Le May. Tosh Le May.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, so first one's going to be silent, second one's going to be vocal.
First one goes.
If it's at the end, it's always silent. You never pronounce it at the end of a word.
and isn't this is where the break is? Didn't you say?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I put a break
Put a
right
break
there.
in between
Okay.
the two.
Right.
A line between, make it almost like two different words.
Mhm.
This one's at the end and it's silent. And this one's in the.
Right. So Tosh, then it's like you're starting a new word. Le May.
And if it's in the beginning, you just say the consonant, right?
Well,
So like if it was in the beginning, that would just be a ta.
Be a, that would be a.
Right. If you had it,
Would it be a tuck?
if I had it here,
Mm-hmm.
to,
To. Okay.
Tuck, Lemay?
tush. You're never gonna have three in a row. Like
Well, no, but
that.
I mean, I'm just
But-
saying, based off of that,
Oh.
so we just, okay. And then if it's at the end, it's just silent, it's just not even there.
Yep.
Unless
If
it's
for
at
some
the-
reason we had one under the yod,
So
it wouldn't
what,
be there.
would it ever be the last two? So it wouldn't be silent because, you'd have to drop this one off, then you would pronounce it? No, because it,
No,
okay.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay,
not. I can't think of a single word that it does that.
okay.
Usually, you'll see that ending, or you'll see that shva at the end under a kaf sofit, which we'll learn in this chapter coming up today. And it's usually there to tell you that that's part of the root word, not part of an ending,
Okay.
because there's an ending that's a kaf sofit commence. That says cha. That means your. So becha, your house.
I say La Casa.
Yeah.
Okay,
Susanna.
so what if the top was
Susanna
a,
Lacasa.
a IN?
Sorry, which is what?
Replace the top with the INs?
Replace the tav with an ein. So if we did this.
So I thought that was a silent letter, but when the Shabbat is there, what happens?
From a technical standpoint, it would be It would start with but I can't think of any word that starts that way offhand. I could be wrong.
They did a word that was, for example, ALE in English.
I'm seeing if there's a.
That would have been, the two words would have been
I can't
horizontal.
hear you.
It would have been horizontal. Ale
Right. Ale.
would have been two dots.
Well, we'll get. Is that part of the lesson? You mean part of the exam?
Well, I remember it was something I got stuck on. It was, I think it was one of those words that you have to draw the line to the
Yes.
corresponding.
Yeah, it's in the exercises. We're gonna go over those. So we will hit those. We will hit those. Okay. Well, rather than take the chance that we're gonna run long, because I want to make sure that we have enough time for everybody to be comfortable with this before we move on.
I am so not comfortable with this chapter.
I watched a kids program called Tweet Brew.
Yeah, Tweeter. Yeah,
It was so cute,
it's
but it really helped me. But she was pronouncing things a little different, which is okay. I still got the gist of it.
Hebrew's a lot about who your teacher is. So I'll pronounce it one way, somebody else will pronounce it slightly differently.
Which was
And
all
it's all
good.
Tweebrew. I emailed it out to everybody a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
For little kids.
And it's, 1 to 2 minute long little YouTube videos that just cover one letter and a vowel.
Oh,
Kind of
I
thing.
didn't
So
see
it's
that.
really,
Instead of like Tweety Bird, it's
it's,
Tweebrew.
Yeah.
And it's,
Hey.
for little kids.
it's cool.
Oh, there it is.
Morning.
Yeah, if you go to YouTube and search for Tweebrew,
I'm all
Can I sit
spread
down?
out. Come on, Eric.
there's a whole series of them.
Well, I was
They're
waiting
very
for
short,
you. I saw you.
1 to 2 minutes. They cover every letter and every vowel and very easy to
Look at you,
watch,
all
easy to
students.
repeat. So you can
I don't want to
follow
sit
along.
here. Nobody likes to show off. I know it all.
I don't know it all. That's why I got this. Got my bingo cards out.
Really playing three-card Molly.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I had to bail at the last minute last week. I was planning on being here. We got stuck at the hospital in Winston visiting somebody. My wife got held up in a room. And
Hey, it's all good. That's why we stream it and you can watch it later.
Yeah, it was really
And
nice.
I
The-
did.
The class online was really nice. I was able to check everything.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, because I was in Ohio last weekend. I was not here. So
class online was clear as mud. It was fantastic.
it's really
good.
nice. I didn't miss a thing.
Felipe.
That was actually one of my favorite lines.
Don't forget, I miss,
Just sort of rolling.
Huh?
Yeah, Gabe, slide over.
We're in
Get
Ohio.
up front.
We live the Cleveland area.
I'm from Parma.
Are you from Parma?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we lived 15 years in Ohio.
Yeah, I grew up in right outside Cleveland.
In Parma High. Yeah, we live in Parma High for 18 months and then moved to
Wow. Small world.
yeah, Akron, Ohio.
I went to recording school.
Because
in
we're
Yeah,
all
yeah.
by Cleveland too.
Really?
Well, I live like 30 minutes apart from each other.
We lived 40 years in Macedonia. You know, between Cleveland and
I'm like Macedonia.
Yeah.
Like, that's in Europe.
yeah.
No, that's in Ohio.
That's
too.
in Ohio too.
In Ohio.
I lived right off the
Ohio,
state
yeah.
road. You could see Lake Erie at the top of
We
it.
love it.
Very cool.
I went to Ohio in July.
We go a lot to Ohio because we have very good friends there, and the boys have good friends, so we go all a lot.
I had been for years.
Yeah.
I watched the Buckeyes on TV.
That's a different that's a different part of Ohio.
Yeah, that's a totally different part of Ohio.
That's not our part.
Uh-oh. Now we're gonna get into it. Yeah, I went to recording school in Chillicothe,
Okay.
which is, there wasn't much to do there. Get drunk and roll down the hill. Oh, wow. That was the favorite pastime. You had to have a spotter at the bottom of the hill so you wouldn't roll into the road.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to page 36. Let's get through the exercises. Top of page 36, exercise 1. We're going to start in the right-hand column of Hebrew. The first one is loan.
Which one?
Top of the right-hand column of Hebrew on page 36.
At the top. At the top.
Top of the page 36. Exercise 1.
Mhm.
Far right-hand column of Hebrew. All right. The next one down is
Toe.
toe. That aleph isn't really doing anything.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Just toe. All right. Then the next one,
Nosh.
nosh. Right.
Nosh.
The shva at the end doesn't do anything.
Mhm.
I was looking at that. Is this my English? I kept saying in my head that should be an A, like Nash, like
Nash.
Nosh, Nosh.
Nosh.
Instead of no, because it looks like it's an O, like Nosh. I kept looking at that and kept going through all the words, like it has to be that one. But
Nosh. So you've never heard that term when you're eating? You're gonna nosh on something?
Nosh.
That's-
Gnaw, but not nosh.
no, that must be a northern thing. It's,
Well, I'm from
oh yeah.
well,
must be a
Chardon,
southern
where the
thing.
6 kids got shot.
Where's that?
Chardon, where the 6 kids got shot.
Chardon.
Ohio.
Oh, Ohio.
That's north. That's north.
I grew up in upstate New York. That's the Great White North.
That's as north as you can get for Ohio.
Yes, that's true.
Unless
Yeah,
you're out
that's
on the
true.
lake.
On the lake.
She's west.
Yeah, it's Midwest.
No, we're not west.
No, they're not West.
West is when you get into Indiana.
Indiana and Iowa and
Parma.
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 I'm Southern.
You're Southern.
Okay, the next one down.
No.
No. Good. Yep, the ayin is silent, so we just have the noon in the column. The next one down.
Nay.
Nay. Next one.
Er.
Er. And then the next one.
Aim.
Aim. Yeah. And the last one in that column.
Yeah.
Ebb. Good. All right. The next column. Top one.
May.
May. Very good. Next one.
Shown.
Shown. Yeah. Next one.
8.
8. Yes. Then
Knob.
No.
Oh, knob, right.
knob.
Mhm.
All right. Got that commit or talk there. Knob. Then we have
Hen.
hen, as in the chicken.
Mhm.
Yep. Then the next one.
Nope.
Note. Then
Lane.
lane. And the last one.
Or.
Or. Good.
So I remember last time we saw that the aleph and the yain don't have a sound. That they adopt the sound of the.
Right. You just get the vowel.
When do you know when you use it? when you use English or you use aleph and you use.
It's going to be part of the root of the word. Those 3-letter roots that we're sort of learning as we go through this.
Okay.
It's going to be part of the root.
Oh.
If you can't interchange them, if you change it, you're changing which word you're saying.
Oh, okay.
Because so much of Hebrew is context.
Yeah.
So you're going to know from the sentence whether you should have an ayin or an aleph in there.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those things that you get to know as you
Just as you
grow
go,
in the
yeah.
language. You know how words are spelled, and you expect an aleph or an ayin.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, you're just making up words that don't exist in writing. I mean, it'll sound exactly the same. Obviously, ayin and aleph don't make any sound by themselves. But if it's written down, you've got to have the right one.
Mhm.
Okay, let's look at exercise 2. Now here we're transliterating English words into Hebrew letters just to make the sounds.
Mhm.
Okay, so the first one, A, is bone.
Oh,
How are we going to write that?
bet.
Bet.
Uh,
Everybody agrees on that. Then
okay.
Either
Holam.
Holam, you can have either one,
Holam.
Holam Malay or the
Nun
Holam
Sofit.
there. And,
Nun
right, Nun Sofit.
Yes.
Yes. And because of my handwriting, I didn't quite connect that. Right. So you're going to have it with or without the Holam there.
Holam.
You've got to have that dot regardless. All right. Then B, Bane.
Big.
I mean,
Mhm.
Bang would be
olive,
Sure.
The Siri.
Sarai.
Sarah.
oops,
Sofit.
And then
And the Nun Sofit.
Yes.
Bet, Zeri, Nun Sofit.
oh,
And you could also have what?
I don't know.
Zeri, Yod.
Oh, I did with them.
I didn't get
You can have it with or without the Yod.
that.
All right. Letter C, Moan.
So, mem.
Mem.
There I use yain.
The cold.
Cholam. Right. We do Cholam.
Holan.
Right.
And then the
Nun Sofit.
Oh.
Now, what you were trying to do
Mhm.
is do what it shows in the English with an O and an A.
Mhm.
You don't have to worry about that. We're just looking for the sound.
The sound.
We're not trying to move every single letter over. We're just trying to move the sound over.
move.
So you were trying to throw an aleph or an ayin in there. You're trying to throw
Yeah.
a silent. There's
That's what I
no,
was going to do.
Yeah.
there's no need for it.
Okay. No,
That it's a little tricky sometimes doing that because English letters we have silent letters in the middle, like Hebrew does.
Mhm.
But we're not trying to move letters over. We're just trying to move those sounds. So if we're talking about moan, we're just thinking O N. M
M
holum. No. Mem holum. No. All right. What about men?
Let's see, that's a mem.
Mem.
Segal.
Segal.
And then
Segal, and then
Men Sophite. No other way to put that. Okay.
Mhm.
What about E?
10 will be top.
Tav.
Segal.
Segal.
And then Men Sophite. All right. And net.
Nun.
Segal and a top.
Segal and Tav. Pretty easy, right? Those were. How about not?
Nun.
None?
Shabbat.
I heard what?
Shabbat. Shabbat.
Patak or commits. And then Tav.
Oh, because sounds like an A.
Gosh. Either or?
It can be a Patak or a commits. Either one. It can either just be the line or it can have the commits there. Okay? How about name?
Nun.
Noon?
Zere.
Zere?
Mem.
Mem Sophite. Could also be a Zere Yod, right?
Yeah.
Good. See, y'all are getting this.
It's just putting it all together when we're reading.
It is putting it all together when you're reading. That's
And we can
hard.
write it, we just can't say it.
I know it is. You'll get there. I promise you. You'll get there. All right. Rain. Letter I.
Rage.
Reish.
Zere.
Zere or Zeriod.
Nun.
Nun Sophie. Good. Own.
That was a tough one.
I went Olive.
Ein or
Ein.
Olive.
Ale. Ein.
And then I did column.
Patak.
Holum.
Holum.
That was a tough one.
And Nun.
And then Sophie.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
So-
Ein. You say Honen.
Own. Right. You're looking for that long O sound, which you get from the whole. Own.
That was a tough one.
What's that?
So I use the olive. Is the correct way would have been using the and or no?
No.
It didn't.
For what we're doing, it doesn't
doesn't
matter which
matter.
one you use. There were
Okay.
4 ways, actually, what is it, 8 ways you could have done this.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
8.
Oh, no,
I see 4.
no, 4 ways. 4 ways.
Okay, I did not put that.
Later on, there is one that's got 8 possibilities. You only have to give me 2,
Yay!
but there are 8 possibilities
Is that
in
on our
there.
test?
No. Well, maybe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you didn't put that Y there, I mean, I in there.
Mhm.
You can't get the long O sound.
I could,
Olive.
yeah, I could put
Yeah.
an olive there.
Same.
So you have to have either or to get.
You've
to
got to
the
have
long
you've got to
O.
have a consonant there
Oh.
to start the word.
You'll never start with a vowel, right?
What's wrong with them?
Or maybe once or twice.
You'll start with, you learn this a little later, you start with a sharuk
Okay.
in the case of and something. And it can start with
I am.
who.
Almost like an
And we'll learn the rules for that later.
Right.
So let's not run that hill just
Yeah, I
yet.
don't want to get heavy.
But
That's-
for the most part, if you're talking about a root word, yeah, we generally don't start
For the most
with a
part.
vowel.
Okay.
We're going to start with a consonant and then a vowel. So it can be a silent consonant. So it sounds like you're starting with a vowel. A lot of those, tons of those.
Great.
Tons of those. So, yes, you can start with a silent consonant and a vowel. All right. So that's own, but then we have on.
I did it the same way.
Olive name.
Now we're talking about a different sound.
Oh.
So
Talk is
instead of an
not.
O, we're getting an ah. So, so you can start with an aleph or an ayin,
And then, yeah,
fatak or kametz,
Commits, that's it.
and nun suffix.
and nun safit. On.
Okay.
Sometimes it helps to exaggerate the sound a little bit, so you figure out, oh, we're talking about something different.
Like a Boston accent.
Ah. Well, we won't get into the Boston accent.
That's a whole country there.
Yeah, that's a whole different
Second
world.
one.
Okay, then the last one we were talking about a little bit beforehand is ale.
Aleph,
Aleph or ayin, yep.
Serei, and
Sere or seriod
Seriod and Lamed.
and lamed.
And long.
Ale.
Right.
Okay, and exercise 3. This is where they had that editing problem where they stuck it across 2 pages. So,
The first one on the right, right?
yeah, let's start in the right-hand column on page 36. So that first one, far right-hand column.
Tomorrow.
Tamar, right, which is over on the other page.
Oh, tomorrow, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then the one below that,
Amram.
Amram. Good. The next one,
Rosh
Rosh
Hashanah.
Rosh Hashanah. Right. Coming up pretty soon. Then the next column over,
Leah.
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 Okay.
Leah. Right. In English, we've anglicized it, made it Leah.
Leah.
Leah. Leah. And then
Shlomo.
Shlomo,
Shlomo.
which is Solomon, right? Now, this is one of those, it has a shva at the beginning. It doesn't sound like you're saying it because we're slurring it together, but it is sh-lo-mo. If you slow it down, it's sh-lo-mo. Kind of a little grunt, sh-lo-mo. But if you start saying it fast, you're going to drop that grunt just out of speed. Shlomo. As you get faster, you'll sometimes drop that, but it's still technically there. Melissa,
Are we on number 3 on 36?
we are on exercise 336. Now we're in sort of the middle column there with the Hebrew. So this is,
Okay, but I have, I'm in, I don't have Shlomo on.
The next page over.
it's on the next page over.
37.
The English is on the next page over, but the Hebrew is what we're going
Oh, there it is.
down. We're going down the Hebrew column. Yeah,
Somewhere.
they edited this funky and put half of this exercise on the other page so you can't draw lines between them. So,
Could I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Sorry, going back, because I had this question
Uh-huh.
earlier. On number 2.
number
the,
exercise 2.
Yeah, no.
Oh, second
what
one
we're
down.
on, but the second one
Amram.
down. Yeah, Amram. Where you guys were saying Amram. So is it because I read it as
Amram,
Okay, so it's not pronounced.
not am.
Okay.
Amram.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Now, somebody pulls out a Bible and starts reading, they're going to go Amram.
Oh,
Because in English,
yeah, right. That's
it
what
would
it's-
look like am.
Okay.
But Amram
Okay.
is the proper pronunciation of that. Okay, then we did Shlomo. So the last one in that column,
Menorah.
me, no, m, no, ra. Now, obviously, again, we anglicize it and we say menorah, right?
Mhm.
Menorah. So, m, that's more like a m, menorah. Menorah.
So we're just saying it's silent when we say menorah.
Right. And it's actually a little more Ashkenazic because they have the emphasis on the next to last syllable, not on the last syllable like Sephardic like we do. So we've adopted the Ashkenazic out of habit because we've heard it that way so much because almost all the synagogues in America for the longest time were all Ashkenazic in tradition. So the pronunciation that we've become accustomed to is menorah. But it's From a Sephardic point of view, it's Memorah. Okay, next page. That Hebrew next to Tamar,
Amen.
Menashe.
to the right of it.
Oh, okay, that will be Menashe.
Menashe.
Menashe. Menashe.
Menashe.
Menashe. Menashe.
No, that's.
Menashe.
And again, we're gonna anglicize it. We're gonna say meh out of habit because we see me.
M-E.
What does-
It's gonna happen. Don't worry about it. Don't freak out about it. And from a,
Okay, so here we go.
again, we've probably heard this so many times as Menashe or Menashe, or, you know,
You can have this together.
I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong either way, but from a strictly rule wise, Menashe, Menashe
Because the Shabbat
is
is
a,
silent.
no,
Isn't it in the beginning
First
pronounced a
one.
consonant?
first one always vocal.
The Shabbat, isn't the beginning pronounced a consonant? Isn't that the
Yeah.
rule for the Shabbat? So,
You're giving a
okay,
Three dots is in-
so yeah,
okay.
Menashe, Menashe. Okay, then the next column.
Will be
A main.
Main.
A main from a strictly technical point of view. We have, this is one of those kind of like Shem, where you have a Sari, but it's pronounced more like a Segol. It has become Amen in modern Hebrew. Sometimes you'll even see it Omein.
That's the EI that we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have seen it transliterated like, gosh, I almost wrote English backwards. We have Amen, we have Omein, and
Well, that's what I tried to do.
Amen. I have seen all three as a transliteration for that word. And I think that's one of those cultural things. It's a matter of who you know and who's taught you. So you're not wrong with any one of those.
Unless you put it wrong on the test.
If I were to have that on the test, I would take any of those.
Okay.
I would not give you flack about.
What
any
is the
one of those.
text?
What's that?
When is the text?
At the end.
Oh,
So you'll like give us some slack on our poor penmanship?
No, that's all.
No, that's a little different.
So if you.
I'm writing like a 3-year-old. I can read it, but he can't.
By the time you get to the end, you'll be really comfortable with it.
Okay. Telling
Throw
you,
it out of the
hey,
bus.
look, I did my stuff. I made little cheat
That's
sheets.
great.
I know what they are, but hey, they're not politically correct.
You know,
So when there's a vowel on the silent letter, you
Yes.
just pronounce the vowel.
just the vowel.
Yep.
Ah for this one. Amen. Yeah, that's the whole syllable there. So remember, we break things into consonant vowel syllables, right?
Amen. So you are getting
There's our syllable. Ah for the first one, main for the second.
why isn't it ma? M-A.
Which one? For the second syllable?
Yeah.
Because the zere is an A sound.
Is there a, so that's, and that's an mem, so it's an M, so it's
So may. A.
A's and play.
Let's see. All right. And then the N is.
Okay. And then the very last one,
Moshe.
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 Moshe. Right. And this is one of those cases where the dagesh over the sheen is acting as both
Like
the
like
holum,
Holum,
and
yes.
so we don't.
See, and I didn't see that. I just
Right.
sounded out those three and realized what it was. Yeah, it has to have a vowel.
So
Gotcha.
Right.
I didn't,
So we
like I
don't.
knew it, but I didn't.
We don't
know.
put two
Right.
up there like that.
What's the name of the little dot over the chin?
Dagesh.
Dagesh. Sorry,
Dagesh.
need to learn all these names.
Yes.
Did we study Dagesh?
What's that? Do you study a Dagesh? Later on.
Later.
Later on. That little dot,
that's how he's
a Dagesh.
Okay.
Have you seen it different?
No.
DHE.
Oh, okay. Because I wouldn't be surprised if it's spelled somewhere else.
That's pretty cool.
But that little dot can be in the middle of a letter, can be over a letter, can be next to a letter. It's very versatile.
Oh, okay.
And there
I see
are
what you're saying.
rules regarding Dageshes, and I will give you a paper that you are not responsible for knowing solid at this point. But I'm not going to give it to you until later on in the class because at this point it would just explode your brain, and we don't need that yet.
Will it be on the
We
exam?
need to slow down.
No, it will not be on the exam. You get to Hebrew 2, though, you've got to know it.
Oh, wow.
You go on to Hebrew 2, you have got to know the Dageshes.
Did you put an emphasis on that if we get to Hebrew 2?
There is nothing wrong with stopping at Hebrew 1. I encourage everybody to continue on.
Yeah.
But if you just want to get to the point where you can read out of the scroll or out of a siddur, fine. That's nothing wrong with that at all. A basis is a basis.
No, I want to continue.
When you're ready, move on to Hebrew 2. You'll get more, but it gets right into translating on day 1. It's
Yeah, but
it's-
we can take the class.
you can take it 5 times if you want to.
So you
Yes.
said that the Gish overrides the Segal?
No, it doesn't override the goal. What we have here is we don't put something like this. We don't put a holum haser next to a sheen with a dagesh
Oh, okay.
on the right-hand side.
I see.
What winds up happening is
They come together.
one drops off. And so now this one, oops,
Has to do
Let's do the
two
erase.
drops.
so now this one is now both a holum and the indicator for the sheen telling us it's a sheen and not a scene over here.
Okay.
And that is common. It does pop up quite a bit. So you have to be looking for it. If you're like, I don't see a vowel, look for that sheen because that sheen is probably hiding the holum.
Okay.
All right. Good. Reading practice. Who wants to go first? Oh, wow, lots of hands.
I would like to go first because the first line usually.
Hey, we're going to start on letter K.
Oh,
The last shall be first.
Actually, Yannette, I saw your hand. I would really love for you to do line A for me.
Alim,
Close.
Alim,
Alem.
Alim,
Alem.
Elam,
Alam.
Alam,
Yep, both.
Alat.
A lot. No. There's not a tav on the end there.
I made it one.
You made it into the tav. It's not a tav. It's a.
Aha, I mean,
Hey.
it's a hey.
It's a hey, so.
Aha,
Allah. Allah.
well, no, I got a lot for the next one. Gosh.
You're,
Oh, it's silent, Allah.
no, not silent. It's a segol.
No,
it's
no,
eh.
the next one. La,
There you go. Ella.
Allah. And then, the next one is, Allah.
Ele.
Amen.
Ele.
Praise God.
Three dots is the path.
Right. but-
So you have.
Oh, I'm putting an I with the A. Okay.
That is,
Uh-huh.
La, Allah.
Alone.
Alone.
Loan. There you go.
Alone.
Okay.
It's good. All good. Who wants to do B?
Okay.
Oh,
B will be alam,
Alam. Good.
olam,
Olam. Yes.
ha olam,
Ha-olam. Yes.
ha alam.
Ha-alam.
And this one it was kind of tough. Melam. I remember you saying something about when we had two
Right. So we have
the accent, the spotting another
Yeah.
one. We had two seagulls.
That is a.
The accent is you say something about that. I remember.
Yeah. What is it?
The ne lam,
Ne'elam.
the ela.
So this is a seglet when you have two seagulls next to each other, right?
Yeah.
And what it does is it changes the emphasis from here to here. It moves
Elam.
it back one syllable. Ne'elam.
The ela.
Ne'elam.
Okay, the ela.
Instead of ne'elam, we have ne'elam
The
because of that syllable.
ela. Okay, and then the last one is
Which one?
the last one.
Last one. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Elam.
Clear as mud?
It's just a matter of where the emphasis is.
Right. Because our emphasis would traditionally be on the lam.
Right.
Ne'elam. But because we have two seagulls, we have to move it back one syllable. So now it becomes ne-e-lam. Ne-elam.
L is in like E, if we were just phonetically kind of pronouncing it, EHLL.
Ne- Oops.
What the?
I did. I'm used to a whiteboard where I can actually just
Was that Passover last night? You had like
Ella.
15 glasses of wine.
bourbon.
Okay, net alam. Let me write that so.
Ne'elam.
Net alam.
Good. All right. How about line D? Who wants to jump on line D?
C.
You'll do it?
Yeah, 90.
Give it to it, Josh. It's line D.
No, nor, nay, there,
Nair.
there,
Yeah, good. There you
no, neor, neor, nero, nero,
go. Nero. There you go. Nero.
nore, nora,
Nora.
nora,
Good.
nare, nare, nora.
Okay.
Oh, works.
Break it down. Break it down to here. Is that schwa going to be vocal or silent?
It's gonna be
It's going to be silent,
All
right? We have one in the middle. As long as it's not between two consonants,
All right.
it's going to be silent.
Say that again.
So no, so nare, 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 nare.
Why is it not?
That's it.
Because you don't break these two apart.
No.
Is that right? I didn't look back at it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
So what we have is
That's a
we have a
line.
So that's
Yeah.
Yeah, the M is a line, it's a patak
It's a
or a
caboodle.
caboodle, yeah.
oh
It's
a
like
caboodle,
knot.
a patek, patak.
Patak,
There you
There we go.
there you go.
So what we have is we have to break it up into syllables, right? What's our first syllable here?
No.
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 Normally it would be na,
No.
but when we have a schwa like that in the middle, that's going to be our break point
Okay.
for the syllable. So now we have nar,
Nar.
No.
Oh, okay, so when there's
Alright.
two.
Nar,
Eh.
nare,
nar, eh.
nare.
Nar.
So we're going to have a break there in the middle.
Okay.
Again, you would see this transliterated as nar, eh. There would be an apostrophe there, kind of breaking it up.
And that little one in the middle is the Shabbat.
Is that same?
Yes, the two dots, one over the other, is the schwa. And When it's in the middle by itself, so long as it's not between two of the same consonant, it's going to be silent. It's going to act like a break in the middle of the word.
Then the hey is silent.
Nar, ed at the end. And the hey at the end is silent. Right.
I got you.
Yeah, right.
Nar.
It will be nar, nar,
See
eh.
the two
Nar,
vowels
eh.
together?
Oh, okay,
I'm
okay.
gonna send it to the second
Alright.
one.
This is a good way to punish some person. Give wrong.
Nar, eh.
Yes, continue. Nar, ed, and then
No roads. No, no roads.
no, not no.
No rope.
No, narrow.
Nay wrote. Nay wrote. Nay wrote.
Nay, Ross.
Nay.
Because we have a zeri there. Nay wrote.
Mhm.
Good. Han nay wrote.
No, no,
I
okay.
need a drink.
It's not perfect.
I think I-
Han nay wrote.
I think we need to
I
spend
didn't
more
want to
time
explain
on
this
this
chapter.
I know.
That would have been nice if you had.
Again.
Wouldn't just notes.
Well, the idea is that over time you wouldn't write down things next to the words. You would start to break them up into syllables, put lines in the middle of them, do whatever you have to do to get the words in your head without transliterating. Because when you transliterate, that becomes a crutch
Okay.
later on.
I need a magnifying glass to tell the commands.
She's got one.
Oh my, look at you.
She brought one with her.
I could not see that, because sometimes I put my pen down and I don't know if I made it. I made the guess.
I was doing
Right.
that, so I retracted my pen, so I'd stop giving myself vowels where they weren't.
Yeah, we don't want extra vowels in there. All right, line F. Volunteer. Eric. She's trying to guess
You
where
wanna
I'm
finally
going
go?
next.
I'm pointing at you.
Oh,
She's good. All
throwing
right,
me under the bus. This one myself.
Eric.
Bo, no, nay,
Bonet.
bonet, bona,
Bona. Yep.
bono,
Bono. Good.
bo, bone, no, bone, no,
Is there going to be vocal? or-
bone, no,
Is going to be vocal or silent in the middle there?
At the end of the word,
bono,
No. It's in between two nouns.
What?
If it's in between two of the same consonant, it has to be vocal because we can't pronounce the two nouns without bo, no,
The
bone, say that again?
bo, no,
F.
no.
F.
Bone, no.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So you just do like a double N, then no,
Bo, no, no.
bone, no.
Bo, no, no.
Okay, see, I was going in my head of the cannot put the two consonants together. Bone, no,
Right.
you know, that's the double.
Bo, no,
How do
no.
you?
But
So
but
if I
because you've got the Shiva in there, you can do that.
No.
Because of the Shiva, you can do that. You can no.
Well, I thought it was
Right, the Shiva puts a little
Puts it
grunt in
together
there that
where you
allows
can
to
hit
do bo,
the
no, no.
consonants together.
That's what I
Gotcha.
said.
O,
No,
O,
Oh, no. Okay.
no. Bo, no, no.
No.
From the holom, you have the, gosh, my handwriting's terrible. You have the holom up there. Bone,
I wrote on top of it. Oh,
no.
Bonana,
okay. Got it.
bonana,
Bonana. Good, yeah.
What is it?
is it?
Bonana.
No.
bonana.
I see. You moved on from
And then the last one,
Bonan,
bona. What? Last one? Huh?
bono,
Name.
Bonet.
Bonane. There you go. There. we go.
I just zoned out on the last file.
I was like, if I look at it the right one.
No, that was me. I was just zoned out.
I'll try the next
I have
one.
a question.
Well, no, you're not gonna do cheat.
We're like all shooting for that one. Pick me.
Carol, give me line E.
So what is the
Line
correct
E?
sound?
Line E.
We did irony already, didn't
Nope,
we?
no, we didn't.
All right, I did separate it. Okay, really? You serious?
Yes.
Okay.
Hang on a second.
Can you remind me what is the sound of the shba? Like
Just
a
a-
short A?
Just a little grunt.
That's the
Oh, no.
have to look that up.
Oh, no, no.
That is a Shiva.
Just, yeah, it really is just that short little.
Yeah, I think
Ready?
it is.
So the,
All right.
It is.
Okay.
Look it up. I got it.
on the word before, the second to the last word in F,
Second to last word in
you
F.
were saying that the two noons,
Right,
were pronounced because there wasn't the same vowel.
right. So we have bow. Oh, gosh, my noon.
Oh, wow.
No, we will not accept poor penmanship.
It's hard because there's no friction on the glass. And so it's like, I have to really control my hand. So, all right, we have bow, right? There's our first syllable, bow. We're there with that one. Because we have these two noons and the shva is in between them, we have to say that. We have to say that shva because you can't put those two nuns. Bone, no, it just doesn't work. Bone, no. You're just not allowed to do that in Hebrew. So, because the shva is such a short sound, it's going to come out as n. Bo, n, no. Bo, n, na. Sorry. So we have three syllables. Bo, n, na. With our emphasis on the last one. Bo, n, na.
So if the hay is silent, why do we need it there?
The same way the H's are silent on the ends of some English words. Sarah, we can spell it with or without the H. That kind of thing. We have a lot of silent letters in English that we don't need. It's just a quirk of language.
Did you send me that program?
This one, write it.
Right, it.
Write it.
WRITE?
Yeah.
It?
Yep. WRITE.
What is that?
IT. The program I'm using to write on the board.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I thought, you know that,
It's a Windows 10 thing. So
well, I have understood.
if you have a Mac, there's a program called Whiteboard that does the same thing. Okay. Line E for me. Give me all those mems.
Okay, line E.
Yes.
So, this is a mem with a cigar, so that would be
No,
meh.
not a
That's not a
cigar.
cigar?
Not a
Oh, that's a
cigar.
comet?
That's a commit.
Yeah, I've gotten the glasses thinking it would work. Okay, ma,
And he said it's a new
mala,
Mm,
mala,
Malay.
Malay.
Malay. There you go.
Malay, a play, Malay,
Malay.
Malay. Okay, so this next one is a mem, and that is a shava, which is, I'm gonna say and then that's over here, so that's an O, so it's low.
Malo.
I had to break it down like
Good.
that, I'm sorry.
Break it down.
I like the way you break it.
Break
down.
it down. That's what I want y'all to
Break it
do.
down, sister.
Break it down.
Okay.
Get your
So,
syllables. Letter,
this is,
consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant.
the next one is the lamed with the shava, which we're not gonna do that shava, we're gonna take on the next letter, but it's gonna break or something. Okay, so let me
At the
see if I
beginning
can
of a word, a shava is
pronounce the consonants. It's
vocal.
like la.
Look,
Yeah, look,
look.
okay,
Yes, it's like you're just pronouncing the consonant alone. Look.
look. And then we're gonna put it together with the mem and the patak, so it's lama,
Lama.
lama.
Uh-huh.
And then we have another lamet with a ah sound, the a,
A.
la. Okay, so let's try it again.
The.
La, ma, la, a, la, lay,
Le. Ma. Lay.
la, ma, lay.
Le Malay.
Okay.
Le Malay.
Okay. So we've got another mem with a mem of patak. So that would be ma,
right?
ma. And then, lay with the signature. Oh, yeah, lay.
Yeah,
Mama lay.
Memale.
Mama
Good.
lay.
There you go. All right.
Okay. All right, so let's go with the next one. It's the same thing again. So we got mama,
Lama. Uh-huh.
mama, and then we have the ein. So that's a because it's at the end. So wouldn't that be a low? Right?
All right.
Wait.
Okay, mama. Right? We're looking at mama, low.
No,
Oh, that's not hey, so that's a top.
it's not.
It's a top. Top. Okay, mama,
Mama,
mama, la.
Let me try that again. Let me try writing this again. Jeez.
Oh, mama,
My handwriting
Mama
is
look.
terrible.
mama,
Mama low.
Not that. Jeez.
Where's the other one?
I'm having just a terrible time.
mama,
That's what I'm thinking.
Me, ma,
Mama,
Yeah.
low.
leot, me leot.
No.
La. Which one is it?
What?
Isn't that a
I'm
low
just making up some.
at the end?
I bet you wish you would have taken F now.
Okay.
Me,
Yeah.
First
I
syllable.
know, right?
me.
That's it.
Mama.
We are on line E.
Last
Last one on line E.
So that would be mama.
Okay. We have two shvas in here. First one is going to be. No, we don't have two next to each other.
No, it's the consonant.
First one is going to be vocal. M.
Me.
Mama.
M. What's our second one though?
Ah, ma.
Well, that's your second syllable. Our second shva. Vocal or silent?
Silent.
Silent.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, okay.
So
Because it's in the middle of the
Oh, man.
word, not between two syllables or two consonants that are the same.
that's why I picked up the O at the end of the.
It acts like a break in the word. Me, mal,
Draw your line down.
oat.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I got my line. So
Yes.
the M and the L go together.
So that's.
Me, mal, oat.
See, it doesn't seem like that first me should be by itself. It feels like it should go with something else.
Well,
That's-
you're gonna run it together, but
Right.
get your syllables
Oat.
first. So
Oat.
then you can go me, mal, oat.
Okay.
Me, mal, oat.
I just had my lines a little crazy.
So me mal,
Oat.
Not mem or low.
No, not mem.
Low or whatever.
We have to do that break.
Would this,
Yeah,
would that
that-
break be the same if the first
The
vowel was?
last vowel Picks up on the top. Okay.
If
Oh,
it's for- if
If
you-
the first one there was a line at
You're
the
talking-
top,
yeah, it wouldn't matter.
it would still be that break there, right?
Yeah, that break was going to be there regardless of what any other syllable or any other vowel was, unless this was a
No,
schwa.
no, but I'm talking-
so when
It's still
they
gonna sound the
Shabbat-
same
How's it
regardless of
pronounced
that first
What's the pronunciation?
look.
Mem, mal, oat. There's got to be that little break there between the lamed and the oat.
So
Mem,
you
mal,
say the
oat.
Shema in the middle of the word. is-
Shema.
Shema.
Yeah, not the Shema.
No, the Shema.
That's Deuteronomy 6.
In the middle of the word, it will be silent.
Unless it's between two of the same consonants, like we had with the bo and no.
Okay.
We had two nuns there, and the schwa was in between it.
Oh, okay.
So the break is before or after the olive? Or,
The aleph is silent.
so I'm
So
talking about for the second syllable.
right, the aleph is silent, so it's really before the holum.
Alright,
Yes, if you want to be super technical about it,
it's like right there.
it's right here after the lamed. Mem, mal, oat.
I got you now.
Okay, let's jump down a little bit. Line I. Gabe, give me line I before you fall asleep. Ot, yes.
That's not I. Oh, it's LK.
Line I.
Yeah.
Line I, the first one.
L.
Ot.
It's just at?
Ot. The schwa at the end of the word is silent. Always silent. Because we have an aleph at the beginning, we're just going straight to the vowel then. Ot. Ot.
You said I?
At. Okay.
The next one.
Ta.
Ata. Yes.
Ten.
Atem. Good.
Ten.
Aten. Yes.
Tom.
Aton. Good. The last one.
Tom.
Otom.
That's all, right?
Good job.
Good. All right. Felipe. Deb. Who wants to do line J?
Nobody.
Don't matter.
All right.
I'll do it.
Give me that.
Okay.
You're gonna give Felipe line J.
Na'e.
Na'e. Good.
Na'a.
Na'a.
Na'ot.
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 Yeah. Na'ot.
Tana.
Mm-hmm. Tana.
No?
Na.
Ta'ena.
Ta'ena. Right.
Ta'ena.
Ta'ena.
And Tane.
Tane. All right. Great.
Wow, you did that.
Yeah.
All right, Deborah. Line L. Read the last one. Or. Good.
Where we at?
On
Line L.
second word.
Second word in.
Okay, okay. Hold on.
Why is it rare?
Rare. Yeah. Oh, rare. Sorry.
So wait, what's?
Oh, rare.
Oh, that's what I thought. I thought you just said rare. I was like, no, that's an O. How do
You
you
gotta
get
have the
just a
O.
rare.
Oh, rare.
Yeah. Oh, rare.
Okay. Next one.
Oh, rayo. Oh, rare.
Okay, let's do the syllables.
Okay.
What's your first syllable gonna be?
Oh,
Consonant, vowel. Right. O. Right. Then the next. Uh-huh.
oh, Scooby. Ruh-roh.
Yeah, exactly. O, ro.
Okay.
What is it?
Say it
Scooby-Doo.
again.
O, ro.
Row.
Yeah, it's a
Oh, ruh-roh. It's a Scooby Doo.
it's a Scooby-Doo. O, ro.
Oh, ruh-roh. Oh, ruh-roh.
O, ro.
That
Okay.
sounds just like.
Is that
Okay.
O?
O, ro. Good. And the last one.
O,
Oh,
ruh,
oh,
bo,
O, ro.
ruh-bo.
Good.
Ow.
O, ro.
O, ruh-bo.
Now,
O,
okay.
ro-bo.
That last one, it's got a schwa in the middle of it, right?
Yeah.
Is that schwa vocal or silent?
And the last one that I did?
Uh-huh. From a technical point of view, it's gonna be silent.
Yeah.
But would not
Or
the
bow.
third word as well?
Or bow. No, the third word has two ratios.
That's right.
It's
So
got it in between, so you have
So
to
you
pronounce
have
it.
to
Oh, you said
pronounce
the
it because
third
it's in
word? What's the
between.
last
If the two ratios had that, then it would change.
But that
right?
last one,
Okay.
the last one would be or bo.
No, he's, I got me, he's talking about the third word on the.
right, the last one, it would be silent by the rule.
Which word are you,
Or bow.
I'm sorry.
The
which
very
one?
last one on line L.
Oh,
Or bow.
Okay, I got it.
And you
I
said
got
there
it.
was two words?
This is one of those situations where our tongues may not let us do that easily.
Okay.
And you will run into cases where you're like, those two consonants just don't go together, especially when you're going fast. It's okay in those cases to put that sound in there, or a bow. And you're going to hear that. You're going to come across that. Where there will be cases where they will just say it because it's more comfortable to say the or a bow,
Oh,
rather than just saying, than going or bow or a bow. It does happen. There's no rhyme or real reason to it. It's more about comfort.
Okay.
So from a rule perspective, it should be silent. However, there are going to be cases like this where you're going to be more comfortable with the in there when you get fast with it.
Are these real words or are they just,
Some are, some aren't.
I know some are, but some of them just look awfully weird to be real.
Yes, some of them are, some of them aren't. Like or is at the very beginning there, that's light.
And there's a ta and then there's.
Right, ata, which is you, atem, which is them. So there are real words mixed in here, but there's also a lot of not real words mixed in there. Section 5 would be all real words, but we are
Let's take a
running out of time a little bit, so we need to move on to chapter 5. Okay,
Oh man.
here's where you need a lot of phlegm because we get the sounds.
It just goes your throat.
Here's where we get we get two new letters, the kaf and the chet. Kaf and chet. The kaf has a Sofit form. So we have the regular form, which just looks like a backward C. But then you have the Sofit form, which the longer horizontal bar up top differentiates between the Nun Sofit and the Kaf Sofit. This top bar on the Kaf Sofit has to be a little longer. It's noticeable in the text because if you go back up to where it has the roots here, you have the last root there, Nun Tav Nun Sofit. The Nun Sofit looks very different from the Kaf Sofit
Oh, I see.
in the text.
And then
In
there's
the block writing,
There's a race.
And then this is the non-Sofit.
right,
Okay,
they
gotcha.
do look very different in the text. However, when you're doing the block writing, they're going to look very similar. You have to make sure that your horizontal line at the top is longer on the Kaf than it is on the Nun.
Okay.
Then you have the chet. Now, the chet looks
Like a
very
top.
much like a hay, like a hay.
Like a top.
It has a foot.
Right. Your chet. Okay? Block writing, it's just going to be vertical, horizontal, vertical. Looks similar to the tav, but the tav has a foot and a little overhang up top. It also looks like your hay,
It has a space.
but the hay has that gap up there.
Okay.
So you have to be careful in your writing and your reading.
Yeah, you have to slow it down.
You've got to slow it down. You've got to, in your writing, exaggerate it. Make your gap bigger than it should be. Make your toes and tails longer than they should be on the top. So that you're very clear in your own writing. So you can read your own writing and say, oh, I meant to write this here. Okay? But they all have the same sound. Don't expect to get that easily.
I got it in my writing now, so now it's trying to figure
It's
out
a
what's
guttural sound that we don't have in English. We just don't have anything like it. So we are not at all used to making that sound. Unless we got something caught in the back of our throat. So when you're practicing this at home, have water with you. Drink. Because that's the only, you gotta stay wet back there. Or else you're gonna dry out and it's gonna get sore and you're gonna get tired of it. when we're moving quickly and reading and things like that, I'm not going to give you a hard time if it comes out as more of a k. Right now, get to Hebrew 2. I need to hear that pronunciation
For the cough.
for the kaf and the chet. I need to hear those pronunciations when you're in the upper level.
How do you
Like
pronounce
you're,
it?
like you're hocking a loop.
How do you pronounce it? The cough?
It's all too
Cough.
sugary.
What is the sound?
Yeah.
The cough? No, the cough.
Kaf. Kaf.
And-
Now, the thing about the kaf. This book separates words with and without a dagesh, or letters with and without a dagesh. Later on, I mean, right now we have the kaf. It says it's that grinding like marbles in the back of your throat. Later on, they'll add a dagesh to it, and it'll just be like a hard K.
Oh.
That comes later.
The cough makes the same sound as the hit.
Kaf without that dagesh
With
makes the same sound as the chet.
Oh, really?
Kaf and
Is it in the top
chet.
or is it in the top?
There is a tone in the back. Top of it. Oh, tone at the top.
Again, that's why you
I
have
can't
water.
do that. I can't say that.
Cough without the
Tone
dash.
at the top.
Kaf without the dagesh is what we're talking about right now. Is going to sound exactly the same as the chet.
Okay.
They both say
So one is like a, and one is a.
Exactly.
exactly.
Say that again.
They're the same. They're exactly the same.
Yeah.
That's what she was getting at.
Oh, boy.
So
Ay, ay, ay.
we just talked about this on page 30, on page 40, what letters look alike. So we don't need to go through that again. But let's look at page 41. Let's get a little bit of practice with it. So we look over page 41, line C. We'll do it all together. The first one. Nope.
Oh.
Line C.
Oh,
Oh,
my bad.
Line
Oh, we're
C.
bad.
You're moving
We're
fast.
going right to the word with the vowel. Ha.
Ha,
Ha.
ha, ha,
All right, the second one. Ha.
ha.
The third one.
Cough.
Ho, ho,
Ho.
What?
Ho.
Ho.
They sound like a pigeon.
Oh.
Ho.
ho,
Then ho.
ho, ho.
Then they throw a bet in there. Bo.
What is this?
Hey.
What's that?
Hey,
Okay.
Hey.
Hey.
Right. Hey.
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 Right. We go from hey to hey. You gotta,
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
you gotta
yes.
look
Hey.
for that little bitty
Yeah,
gap
space.
there. You have hey, and then you have hey.
Hey.
All right, which one are you on?
Hey.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
6 and 7.
Can you do 6 again, please?
Hey.
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 And hey.
And then then 7
Oh,
is hey.
Hey.
There's no grinding in that one.
Hey.
Hey,
Is
okay,
that right?
got it.
Hey.
We have hey.
Yeah, right. Hey
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
hey.
Well, what's
They're trying to get us to see the
difference?
difference between the
So as long as it's just
cough
going,
and the.
oh, we're
It's
good.
a K.
Great. Who came up with this language again?
Right. The next one after the hey is hey.
Okay.
Still hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
Although it doesn't have the dot.
Is it
It doesn't have the dot. Wait,
It's
it will
K.
give us the dot as a separate consonant later.
And the dot is a solid K.
It'll be a solid K.
All right.
Yeah, it'll
So
be a
it
hard
sounds
K.
like a hey. too.
Until we get to there, yeah, everything you're gonna see is gonna be hey.
Okay.
Mm.
Hey.
And then hey, hey.
Okay.
And then the last one,
Okay. And nay.
Uh-uh.
nah.
Nay.
Nah.
Not nay.
Yeah, don't extend
Not
that. Don't
nay.
don't make it an A. Nah. Nah.
And then the other one will be
All right. Good
Huh?
Lord, too many.
Which one?
after the hey. After
Right.
the one that has the cough,
Right.
cough and the sere,
Yes.
that's hey. Right?
Hey.
And then the next one will be cough.
Hey.
Hey.
It's a single 3 dots.
Oh, yeah, hey. And then the next one will be hey.
I wanna do
Same
D.
thing. He.
And the last one will be ne.
Ne.
I wanna do D.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna jump to E.
Oh.
I heard it. Okay,
One,
now notice whenever you see a Kaf-Sophi at the end,
Silent, right?
no, we're not talking about.
No.
When you have a Kaf-Sophi at the end, it is always going to have a vowel in it. Always, 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 always. There are very few of these rules. It will always have a vowel in it, and it's going to be either a shava or a commence.
So the
So
You're-
why assignment?
so if it's at the end, it's just gonna take that vowel sound
It's
off.
like a noon Sophie.
It's going to be or
Okay.
ka.
That's enough, all right.
Okay. So,
Now, the reason for this is important because kaf can be either part of the root word, in which case it's going to have a shva in it.
you're gonna miss something, we
So
don't.
what is this?
The 2 dots.
Yes.
That's your.
You're okay.
That's your.
Just that stand.
That's why I said, don't go nowhere, you're gonna miss something.
So
That.
it has to have the shva in it if it's part of the root word.
Oh, the Shabbat.
Let me repeat this back to you. The
Uh-huh.
Kaf-Sophi at the end of the word is going to have a vowel.
It's going to have a
It's gonna
shva
have a shava
or a commence.
or a commence.
Yes.
and the reason is because
Wait,
of the
I'm
root
getting
word.
too much overload here.
If it's got a shva in it, that means it's part of the root word.
Has to have.
If it's got a commence in it, that is a possessive ending, meaning your. Like your house, your pen, your book.
The Casa people either have this.
Say that again? If it
So
has
it'll
a
either
if
have.
it has
Commence.
that,
What is
Commence?
that?
It is a possessive ending.
That's
So now that
Shava.
kaf is not part of the root word, it's an ending, a tacked on suffix, like an
Or
apostrophe s, but it's your.
Is that a commence or is that a commence?
I don't know.
What's that?
Okay, I got it.
One thing Hebrew school never taught me was the name of these stupid dots.
Which one?
No, the T, I have a,
The T, the plus sign.
is that a kamatz or is that a patak? How, I'm having a hard time keeping the two.
Kamatz or commence?
Kamatz is possessive. The 2 dot thingies is a root word.
Part of the root word. So when we look at line E, they all have shavas in them.
Okay.
So they're all part of the root word. They're not. We're not adding on anything. There's no your suffix on it.
You said E?
So line E, the first one, rach, right? Shva is going to be silent at the end of the word. They're only putting it there to remind you, hey, this is part of the root.
Rach,
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 rach. The second one,
rach. Sounds like
lach,
Lock?
lach.
a la.
If it comes out as lock, I understand. It's hard for us to make those sounds at this point.
La,
Practice will
The door.
make it easier.
What'd you say?
la.
The next one,
Johann Sebastian.
Like T.
Bach.
Sneak up on
Ah,
Bach, right? The fourth one,
Ah.
ah,
you. Vampire.
good.
Shine light on.
Ma.
na,
Nah.
na,
Nah,
Ah, wait, that's a.
Nah.
nach.
na.
There you go.
Sounds more like a G, right, at the end?
Hmm?
That one sounds like more like a G.
They sound the same. Nach,
I got it now.
nach.
Now to remember.
The het and the kaf are going to be the same. Continue to make the sound.
Shach.
Shach, good. Yeah. Then ach
Na, ah,
and nach. Good.
ho.
Are we going to the next one?
Where's the top? That's
they,
top.
they just went on.
Like, are we going to the next
What was
one?
your last one in E?
In line E, tach,
Top, yeah.
tach.
That's
¿Dónde? Oh, talks, yeah.
that's a nice one.
All right, line G.
Can we read F?
What's that?
Can we read letter F?
We're running out of time, so I need to
Oh,
keep moving. I want us to see some of these lookalikes. You
Okay.
got to be careful. You got to watch for those toes and tails, right? At the top. So
Pole.
toll,
Pole.
right?
Hole.
But the second one is hole. And the third one,
Hole.
hole. So we have three lookalikes there. We have toll, hole, and hole. Not easy.
Hole.
Hall for the fourth one.
Car.
Car for the fifth.
Hot.
Cot.
Hot.
Yeah, har for the fifth one.
Oh, okay.
Hot for the sixth one. Yeah. Hate for the next to last.
Hey.
And then the last one,
Hey.
Okay.
Hey. Oh, no, Tay.
tay.
Tay. At the foot there.
Tay.
Okay. Yeah, because I.
We were just so excited. We were putting it in there anyway. Got it. Well, now I feel better than I did in chapter 4.
All right, let's get our vowel. Let's skip over to page 42. Okay. Practice. You gotta practice these at home.
Okay.
Now we get
Two
the ooh sound. Ooh, like a double O in English. Ooh. The first one is called a shuruk. It's in your book. Shuruk.
Back here, isn't it?
Shuruk.
Shoe. Oh, I know.
It's like a
Yes.
long ooh, right?
Ooh. Yep.
sure.
And the caboose.
And the next one is the kuboots.
That's the end of something.
Caboose. Caboose. And sounds also the same, like a long U.
Like kaboom.
Yep. The names of these vowels have the sound that the vowel makes in it. So kuboots or shuruk. Talking about an ooh sound.
Okay.
Okay. Be very, very, very careful with the shuruk because it looks very much like a holum.
Yes.
The dots inside.
Right. The dot's in the middle.
Okay.
When the dot's overhead, it's like a light bulb going on. Oh.
Oh.
When the dot's in the middle, it's like getting punched in the gut. Ooh. Right?
Like a ball hitting you.
You're up like a ball hitting you. Ooh. So ooh. Okay. So look at line A under that. Moo. Yep. The next one. Boo. Loo. Shoe. Ooh. Yep. Cool.
Hey, cool.
Two. Roo. Who. And who. Yeah, there you go. Very nice. I like that. Line B. Let's throw it in the middle of a word. Lul. It's hard for us to do some of these. Lul. Then Luch. I am your. Then the third one. Luch. Then Noom.
Oh, that's a
Noom. Yeah, that's a mem on the end. Noom. Then the third one, or fifth one, excuse me. Whom. Shoom. Good. Wool. And rule. Excellent. Down at the bottom, you have now learned the letters and vowels to spell two other basic Jewish vocabulary words.
What's the government?
What do you see in the middle there?
The government.
We have Baruch and it's something in the middle there. That Gimel Mem Sheen. Just cross it out. That's an editing mistake.
Is it really?
It is. It really is.
So it's not a word?
It's not a word. You don't need to know
You're
it.
gone.
There's no vowels there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just gave us Three random letters stuck in the middle. So Baruch is the first one. The next one, Baracha. Baracha.
What is it?
Baracha. Baracha. Now, they both come from the same root. Up on the page, top of page 43. Beit, Resh, Kaf Sofit, which means bless. Now, Baracha is the noun form, blessing. To say a blessing or a benediction over someone. The Aaronic blessing, right? But then you have Baruch, which means blessed, blessed, as in blessed are you. The adjective, blessed are you. Right, and you see in the box there, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. So many blessings start that way. Baruch atah, that yod, so yod, shva, yod, kamet is a substitution for the yod, he, vav, he. So you see that, you should just say Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Blessed are you, Adonai, King of the universe.
Okay.
What is the little yods with the Shabbat and the tomats?
It's a substitution for the Yod He Vav He.
But what?
For Yod He Vav He,
Okay.
they don't like to put Yod He Vav He in prayer books
Oh.
because the name is
The name. Oh,
the name
okay,
is
got it,
holy.
got it.
Yahweh, Jehovah. It's holy, so they don't want to just throw that around all the time. So they'll substitute that way.
So you read Adonai.
I don't know.
Just say Adonai. Yeah,
So they wouldn't say Hashem because it's not.
you could say Hashem. Traditionally, I mean it's a personal choice. What substitution you choose to put there. There's nothing wrong with Adonai. There's nothing wrong with Hashem.
Do they also include Elohim in that
No.
commonality?
No.
Is it not?
Well, that's what Eloheinu is right following it there. Baruch
Elohim
atah
is the
Adonai
Lord, right?
Eloheinu, our God.
Our God.
Right.
Our God. No.
So they don't substitute Eloheinu.
But I'm
Or
saying Elohim is not forbidden like from here to here.
No, not at all.
It's the name of the Lord.
Yeah, I mean,
So is this Adonai?
yeah, I've never seen a case where they substitute for Elohim.
Elohim,
Will always be Adonai, right?
Those are the three most common. I can't think of another one offhand.
I'm gonna have to go get those things on my DVK now so that I can write it on my tablet.
Hey, can we go shopping?
Yes. Hey, I'm happy.
Yes,
I just
you
read
can-
that and
you can
understood what I
download
read.
Hebrew keyboards and Greek keyboards.
Really?
Yeah,
What's that at?
in Windows 10, you can.
Windows 10,
If you go,
Next
if
she's
I
gonna
guess it
want-
would.
you go under the settings, go
she's
under
gonna wanna
language
go buy a
preferences.
butcher shop and a CPA.
Oh, I wanted that.
You can go under your language settings and add a language. Right here. And I don't know why that popped up. And you can add a Hebrew language pack.
That was cool.
Cool. I'm happy I could read that.
And you can add a Greek one too if you're feeling froggy.
No. Get through Hebrew before we even think about it.
Oh, Greek was fun.
Oh, Lord.
No, I didn't like Greek.
Like Greek, it was Greek.
It was all Greek to me. So there is a section there on page 43 that talks about the Segalit. Why they waited until now?
That's this.
That's the two segols, one right after the other, changes the emphasis. Here's where it's explained on page 43.
Why is it explained now?
I don't know why they wait until now to explain it, because we had it in previous exercises.
Building.
Because in the previous exercise, it says you'll find this later.
No, it doesn't. It's just, they're just, but, so, sorry?
43,
Page 43, it says, which syllable is accented?
Okay.
It's talking about the Segalit.
how do you spell it?
Second. spelled SEGOL.
ATE.
Actually, it says it's supposed to be.
Right.
Left.
Again, they don't put it in the book. Why? I don't know. There's some things about this book that they just forgot.
Oh.
If they ever release a new edition, hopefully it'll add some of this stuff back in.
Oh,
Let me get it right.
okay, so it's
Things
the,
appear to, it's not really what
the
they
force
are
of it
because
is at the
you
front.
drop this and you retreat to that and then they put something in your word that doesn't exist and now there's a signature. Okay.
Right. Clear as mud. Right. So a seglet, as we talked about earlier, if you have two of them right next to each other, you can have two in a word that are separated by another vowel. And that does nothing to the word. It doesn't change the emphasis then. They have to be one right after the other. You look at line A, the first one. Lechem. Not lechem, lechem. It means bread.
So you put in the accent in the second one.
In this case, you're putting the accent on the first syllable
one.
because there's only two.
Okay.
But if you go further out, 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth one. O merit.
Or
Put it on the
merit.
emphasis on the
O merit.
Right.
Right. Instead of omeret, o merit. Our emphasis is on the middle syllable there.
what word are you?
If you line A
Oh,
underneath
this
that.
one,
Yep.
okay.
Second one.
If you go 10 syllables, it's going to be on the ninth. It's just moving it one syllable back from the end.
There, so that's like
Okay.
one.
I'm sorry, could you pronounce the word again? Second one from the end on line E.
Do you know when to break
Oh,
those
merit.
two off? So it's
Or
not
the-
all.
Merit.
The fruit, what they're trying to do is show you which word.
I get that this puts the emphasis.
So the emphasis on the first.
So how do you
Right.
add?
Right. On the first syllable.
Okay,
That's
that's
why
why.
you're gonna put the emphasis on the second syllable because that's.
O
where the
merit.
First one.
It would be
Okay.
health.
So basically you're saying if two
Rechem.
syllables are together, we're gonna put
Rechem.
emphasis on the first syllable.
Yes.
What do we do with the second
Rechem.
syllable?
It's just-
Pronounce it.
pronounce
Right.
But it's more,
Lechem.
It's just right.
It's just you're putting your force onto the first one.
oh,
Lechem. Rechel. Rechesh. Right.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Right
I'm
here.
ready. Ready.
O merit.
No.
Merit.
okay, so let me see an example here. So this
Ten.
first one would be,
10. So you still want to break it up
Okay.
into syllables and then just
What's
put
the first
emphasis
one?
on that syllable.
give me that A first one again.
Lechem.
10.
Lechem.
You're just putting the emphasis on that syllable.
Right.
Just the T.
And then if you break it up into syllables, putting your emphasis on
Okay.
the syllable
Okay,
with the first.
so it's like a break right there or something.
No, there's no break. I'm emphasizing it more. Lechem would be.
No.
That's still line A, the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see where the emphasis, how is it really how are you emphasizing on the first one? It sounds-
Instead of lechem, lechem.
Okay. But the end
What's the last
is
one?
silent anyway, so I'm not
There's
confused.
not a break,
The mem's not silent.
right?
Oh, okay.
Mems are never silent.
At the end, that's the mem
You just
suffix.
said it was.
Yeah,
Okay,
but they're never
yeah,
silent.
The English
Okay.
word.
Lechem
Instead of apple.
versus
you're going
lechem.
to
Hem. It's on the, we want it on the first one.
You guys
Let.
are like, no, that's
No,
not
you're.
it.
Kim,
You're
oh, I
saying
see
no
what
to
you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not gonna hear the H on the end of the second one, pretty much.
Right. Yeah.
It's-
I think I see what you're saying.
Just don't put the force on it, that's all. Your force is
Yeah.
on it.
You're put the most emphasis on the first. The
Okay.
first of the two syllables.
Okay,
If you break
And we
it
won't
up-
remember this next week,
Mhm.
so.
No, but you'll get tons of practice at it.
Right?
You will get practice at it.
Syllables.
Okay.
Pretty happy I can read this.
Melissa.
One word, another three.
okay.
Put your emphasis on the first syllable.
No, tenet.
That's contained.
It's going to be the apple and the apple.
Okay.
No.
Gonna drop the H on the
It's overhead, right?
What do you mean?
But like
So the
K,
gesh is above
yeah,
the
second
vav.
one, Ken. So
No
it's like
tenet
Ken.
instead of no tenet.
So you're on, you're
No
here.
ten.
Yeah.
So if you break that into syllables, you got left, is one syllable. Hem is the second syllable. So you can draw a line in between that, because that's your,
Right.
that's your symbol. Left and right. So now because these two are together, put a little emphasis on the first one.
On the first one.
Left.
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 Left hand.
Okay,
Left
So
hand.
here you broke out ladies,
Mhm.
right? So now your emphasis is gonna be on one of the first three dots.
which is the 10, the 10.
Yeah.
Okay, yes,
This is,
Top,
no.
and
Shomeris instead of Shomeret.
No.
Shomeris.
got it, got it.
That's the second one.
Second to last online. Yeah. Shomeris.
First one has
The, yeah, okay.
Mary.
Right. Good. Holem. Holem. Good. Okay. Real quick, page 44 is the route we just talked about for blessed, bet, resh, kaf sofit. There's a few words thrown in there that show you different ways that the root is used. The Birchat Hamazon, we do that every week after Oneg. We get up here and we say a blessing for the food that we ate. Right? But then there's some weird ones in there. Ni, Barak, uses the same root. And then the last one, I mean, I don't know where this came from.
Wow, done.
Which one?
Berechia. Berechia is a duck.
Wow, done.
Maybe the dog in the table.
The duck in the, I mean,
Bonito,
the
so you are
table is a
blessing the
blessing.
Maybe it's that wild duck wine or
Berechia.
something.
Or you eat it.
Wild duck
Blessed be the
wine or
dog.
something like that.
Okay, we haven't gotten to that yet.
That's the cheapest.
Yeah, it is, right?
Okay.
It's a wild turkey.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Our time is up.
Wild
Exercises,
Irish Rose.
45, page 45
49.
through 48.
Okay.
We talked earlier, look on page 49 real quick. We talked about the suffix form versus the regular form with the kaf sofit. This is just demonstrating that. It's showing you how the kaf sofit is used as a possessive suffix.
Okay.
So shalom, peace. Shlomecha is your peace. Shem is name. Shemecha is your name. Torah, Torah Techa, your Torah.
Is this gonna be on the test?
Don't worry about it, you're giving him ideas.
I need to know how hard I gotta study those.
Just study hard. Just worry
I'd have to look.
We
I
have
can't
the rest
remember
of
if
the
that's on
book
the
to go
test or
through.
not.
Do I have to be recorded?
If I don't pass the test, I have to complete the one.
It's not critical for Hebrew 1 to know that.
Okay, just be aware.
Be aware of it. If you go on to Hebrew 2, it's critical that you know it then. Because, like I said, you start day 1 with translating and it shows up on day 1.
There's a semester
That's good.
break between 1 and 2.
Yeah, we have a break. Well, this time, if everything goes well, almost a year. So,
We have summer school in between there.
no, but I
Always rewatch those.
was going to say, the videos will be available online.
Yeah.
You can watch them over and over and over. And at some point, what I'd like to do is try to put together groups, either on Facebook or Google, somewhere that people can interact and share stuff like
I
that.
don't have Facebook.
I haven't quite figured out how to do that in a way that, like, yeah, she doesn't have Facebook. People,
Yeah.
some people do, some people don't. It's, you know.
Thank you very much. Really nice.
Good to see you.
May I ask you a question?
Yes,
You wrote up on the board your top.
yes.
You just simply said that it has to have a little thing at the top, an extension.
I think it's on the foot, the
It's on
bottom.
the
Oh, gosh.
An extension on the foot and one on the top which extends beyond the vertical line. correct?
Again, that may be my personal thing. I may have
Right. 'Cause
added
in
that
the,
on
in the
my
back of the book here, you taught these guys how to write in block form. And there is, by what I can see, there's not much of an extension on that top.
There's not in their block
In the
form.
cursive, there is.
In their block, yeah, but it's
Now, that's a
vertical.
letter, that's
Or the-
in the cursive,
I mean,
letter.
that.
Yeah.
I told you not to worry about the script.
Yeah, don't worry about the
Right,
script.
but this tells us
But-
because of the foot on the bottom left.
I have a tendency to
Right.
make that,
Thank you.
Are you expecting them to write it?
No.
in the-
It has
As long
to be
as we
no-
have the foot.
the foot is the critical part of it.
Yeah,
Absolutely critical.
but not the top.
Not the top, but it's easier if it's there to differentiate it from a head when you're writing.
Right.
If you're like, I'm gonna add a little,
She's had some issues with that little foot, forgetting the foot or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
as long as you have
Extension.
the foot at the bottom. That's what mine is very exaggerated because I always want to make sure that I have.
I found an app. Everybody always does it.
Take it easy.
Where it has the letters. So like,
I don't know.
I guess you're talking about the tell, right? When the glasses are good. Yeah, go ahead and press on it.
What app are you on?
See, and it will tell you how to write it, and then you just kind of follow it, that's all you know. And then